This video is sponsored by Card Kingdom. Go to the link in the description below so they know that I sent you. Here's the trailer. We don't have any sound though. That was intense. Liliana's face melting. Pretty impressive visual. Wish we had sound, but yeah, wish I could hear it too. Well, yeah, it makes sense that Liliana would help him with the Eternals and whatnot. Maybe she already did. I don't know much. Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing that they don't have sound. Oh, man. This animation, though, this is way higher quality than what you usually see in these trailers. It's like Pixar quality. Like facial expressions and everything. Okay, so she decides to turn on Bolus. Surprise, surprise. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, it's actual 3D animation, yeah. Yeah, if this had, I mean, everyone's gonna have to rewatch it later once they put it on YouTube. Yeah, did Gideon die there? He might have. No, he's all right. He's good. Ooh, shice. That's intense. So Liliana's sacrificing herself. Whew. I mean, that, you know, even without sound, that was a good trailer. With sound, not so, not so good. Oh, buffering. Interesting. Is this happening everywhere too? Or is this just me?
To my right,
Sound.
Taylor Ingvarson.
Hi, everybody. I'm Taylor Ingvarson. I'm art director at Wizards, and I was the lead art director on War of the Spark.
We are also joined today by Doug Byer.
Hey, I'm so excited for today. We all had a part in making War of the Spark. My part was I was the world building and creative lead for the Spark.
Awesome. And to my left, Dave Humphreys.
I'm Dave Humphreys. I led the set design for War of the Spark, and I'm a principal game designer.
And of course, we are joined by the one and only Magic Pro League player, Brad Nelson, everybody.
I was just here. I was just here for the trailer, so I'll see y'all
Oh,
later.
all right, cool. See you, Brad. Okay, so we are currently holding for the stream. I wanted to say, everyone here, I'm so glad you guys are here. I actually can see people crying in the audience. It's incredible. I saw saw that trailer yesterday, and after I saw it, people were like, Jimmy, what'd you think? I literally just walked up and left the room. I couldn't even finish. But we have a great panel ahead of us today.
Hopefully
We're
that's a little
but
better.
We're holding for an audio issue on the stream, so we just got to have a little hangout time.
All right.
Just us and PAX East, dry some tears. It's okay to show emotion.
What do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah, a lot of stuff is happening. So, I mean, we've all... have you guys been watching the Mythic Invitational up until now?
Yeah, yeah.
What do we think?
What if one of them was
Just
like,
general,
no,
very
haven't been
broad
watching
question.
it.
Best 1-2 drop of my life.
Well, Brad, I mean, you are here today because, unfortunately, you're not in the top 4, but
Nope.
How was your tournament experience?
I mean, it's amazing. I've never had one like this. Like, I've been playing Magic for 10 years professionally, and when I walked in on Thursday, and from even on the other side of the convention hall, I'm seeing sparks, and I'm like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
You know, and there's actually my tournament, and,
Yeah.
and it's just been unbelievable. Like, even when I got knocked out, I just went upstairs and watched the other matches being played, and I'm loving it.
I mean, it must be a great experience, too, getting to be surrounded by all the other MPL players, so many people from the community as well. And I'm sure it's a dream for you guys that work on the sets and every day get to see it come to life, both in paper and now on arenas as well, right?
It is incredibly exciting to see this kind of massive stage to showcase. We work on like making the art look pretty,
Right.
but also it comes together as this giant competition. It's
Yeah.
super thrilling.
And, I mean, $1 million. That's a number I never thought I would see associated with Magic the Gathering. Okay, cool. All right, well, let's continue.
Black
with the
Lotus
panel.
will probably be $1 million
the big
in like
question is,
10
How
years.
exactly did we get to the events on War of the Spark? Bolas is obviously a huge player in all of it, and as we can see behind us, it's a war-torn Ravnica, this giant panoramic landscape. And Taylor, I have to ask you, are we looking at the basic lands of the set right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. Those are going to be some sweet basic lands.
Yes. I know. They're so good. So with the art in War of the Spark, we really wanted to capture like the expansive
Yeah, that
nature of
is-
this conflict across
those are
Ravnica.
beautiful
And
basic
what
lands.
better way to do it than this awesome panoramic
Even not
shot
full
of the town
size,
district during one of the
full
major
art, I
square
mean.
beats. It's really funny. This actually came out of just, it was like, Doug ran over to my desk at like 5:45 p.m. before the end of the day and was like, okay, I have this idea. Can we pull it off? It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's a tall order. But yeah, let's go for it. And the artist, Richard Wright, absolutely
There's like a
crushed
tree
it.
folk or
And
something
if you
there.
Get a chance to look at it closer, he even put like tiny little people running around, like hurling magical spells at each other.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, the
Well, I
idea
mean,
that it's
things are- I mean, we
war-torn,
see, like,
everybody's
Bolas
fighting on them.
flying across the sky. Doug, I have to know, how did we get here? How did Bolas do all of this?
So Nico Bolas wants ultimate power, as you do,
As you do.
and he's figured out a way to bring together elements of a gigantic plan to Ravnica so he can achieve his wish. What he's doing is staging a massive invasion of Ravnica. He's got the Planar Bridge from way back in Kaladesh. He's got the Eternal Army from Amonkhet, this huge, fearsome army of undead warriors. We call him the Dread Horde. And he's got the Immortal Sun from Ixalan. So if any planeswalkers come to Ravnica,
Buffering.
that's it. They're stuck there. So, are invading Ravnica. What this is going to do is draw planeswalkers from all over the multiverse.
Right.
They want to stop him. They're hearing a beacon. They're hearing the clarion call to come to Ravnica.
Yeah, it's
and
very
stop
Infinity
Nico
Gemsy,
Bolas, which
for
is
sure.
possibly exactly what he wants.
Oh my. And Dave, obviously, as a designer, planeswalkers matter in this set, right?
Right, so it was a real challenge. Like, how do we show off this set where planeswalkers figure like prominently in this really epic story? And you know, what would we normally do in a set? Like, we might have it in the art and the names here and there, the flavor text. But I was leading the Dominaria set design and picked up a few cues from there. Let's just go all out with this. Let's go for the most ambitious thing, which in this case was let's put one planeswalker card per pack, and that's in addition to all the other stuff. Like where again, yeah, you're going to see it. Like each planeswalker in the set has one or more specific cards that shows them doing something pretty cool, iconic that you'd associate with them to give them some more flavor.
That is awesome. And I think that just about leads us to our very first preview card. Oh,
First preview
That's
card.
why most of you are here. No?
That's
All
why I'm here.
Let's cue it up. It is Ignite the Beacon. 4 and a
Ooh.
white. For an instant, search your library for up to 2 Planeswalker
Wow.
cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle your library. So
That might
clearly,
even be
Planeswalkers
good in
do matter.
limited
Do
with
you
all
wanna-
the
wanna see another
Planeswalkers.
card? All right, let's bring up Interplanar Beacon. It's a land. Whenever you cast a Planeswalker spell, you gain 1 life. You can tap it to add 1 colorless mana, or you can also tap 1 and tap the land.
Planeswalkers
You add 2
matter.
mana of different colors. Spend this mana only to cast Planeswalker spells. Well, we've been talking a lot about Planeswalker
That's
spells.
probably honestly not going to be that great
Planeswalker?
in limited.
All right.
It's a
Yeah,
filter
Jay.
land that's really
Let's take a look at
specific. It's not so
Tezzeret,
good in
Master of the
limited.
Bridge.
But Commander, yeah.
Look at
Okay, new Tezzeret. Yeah, he has a static ability. Creatures and Planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. Static ability Planeswalker, as we expected. It's frozen here, but I don't mind. X damage to each opponent. Art equal to artifacts you control. Returns artifacts. He's going to be pretty great. He's going to be pretty great. I don't know why. Do I need to change a setting here? Maybe I do. What does this mean? Does this mean the stream went down? But that Tezzeret looks really cool, whatever is going on
Brad,
right
I want
now.
to know your impressions as a player.
Well, Dave, that was a static ability on a Planeswalker.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, in fact, every Planeswalker in the set has a static or triggered ability. So they all have
Big whoa.
Every
so they all have
Planeswalker has a
ability in
static or
addition
triggered
to
ability.
loyalty abilities, and
That
that
is
lets us have
awesome.
A lot of fun.
That's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say.
Affinity is not in the set, by the way.
Just on the Tezzeret. Well, that's awesome. Tezzeret brought a little bit of flavor that's tied directly to him. But yeah, static abilities on Planeswalkers. That's pretty amazing. And Doug, we have so many Planeswalkers on this set. Can we just talk about who is here to fight this war?
Yeah, so we have just about every character we've seen back through Magic Origins. Ajani and Angrath, Ashiok, and that's just the A's. So look, the whole point is to showcase the feel of this, like Dave said, a massively ambitious feeling of a war of Planeswalkers versus Nicol Bolas' forces.
Wow.
So we've got the Gatewatch, we've got Sarkhan and Narset and Ugin and Liliana, whose card is incredible. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we just have a lot of Planeswalkers
Come on.
in this set.
37 total. Taylor, Planeswalkers are obviously a very important part of the universe. How does someone go about getting 37 unique pieces of art to really make them feel special?
Oh man. Oh no, yeah. Take a look back here, though.
Hey, it's my boy! Sybil.
No, 37 Planeswalkers is a ton of Planeswalkers, and it was a pretty big challenge. But it was also really exciting to kind of dig down and see how each one of these characters would react when you throw them in this epic city fight.
Right.
And that really allowed us to really focus in on their individual personalities and their unique power suites and just really crank it up to 11 so that we can really see and show you guys what they're capable of when we allow them to just take their gloves off.
Wow. The gloves are off, or some of them have gloves on already. But I have a question. Planeswalkers, we've typically seen them at the mythic rarity, but we have 37 of them, 36 in the actual set. How did you make that work?
Right. So in order to get to one per pack, rather, yeah, we needed to put them at all sorts of different rarities. So they're at uncommon, rare, mythic.
Uncommon. Figured it had to be.
There are 20 uncommons, 13 rares, and 3 mythics. And that means that they're not going to all be at some sort of bombastic,
Right.
blow you out in limited sort of power level. But yeah, we tried to play around with fun. Yeah,
He's
we'll
the
see
buy a
when we
box
play around
promo.
with some mana cost. You'll see some cool stuff coming up. And again, yeah, lots of cards in the set are
Tied.
playing up specifically
Yeah.
to those Planeswalkers.
That's exciting. I think you guys know what time it is, right? It's time to see a Planeswalker, perhaps not at mythic rarity. Let's take a look at Vraska Swarm's Eminence. She costs 4
Uncommon.
mana total, 2 black-green hybrid. Legendary Planeswalker comes in with 5 loyalty. The static ability, whenever a creature you control Death Touch deals damage to a player or Planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature. And her -2, her only ability, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker.
I don't think she's that great
Rad
for limited
first
at least.
impressions.
It's a cool death touch build around, I
love
guess.
the idea of just having a negative ability on a Planeswalker, no way to go up.
Right.
And also the static ability allows you to keep it in play even if it can't activate each turn. It's doing something. So that's a really cool design.
Yeah,
It is a
it's
cool
like
design,
enchantment
though.
almost. It just
Yeah,
sits there.
or
Static
Yeah,
ability and
that's
only
awesome.
minus abilities.
And, you know, speaking of this, the spells that are tied to each of the Planeswalkers that you mentioned earlier, let's take a look at another card. This is Vraska's Finisher. Vraska's Finisher, 2 in the black for a 3/2 Gorgon Assassin, as Vraska does. When Vraska's Finisher enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or Planeswalker and opponent controls that was dealt damage this
We see this
Now,
card all the time.
Pretty awesome.
It's
to
always
have a
all
card
right and
directly
limited.
Tied to the Planeswalker adds a lot more flavor to the
Not
set,
great, though.
obviously. Now, do you think we're going to see some other cards that are maybe more, you know, we've known them in the past that have Planeswalker names in the title?
Right. So one of the funnest things to do actually was to go back and do a search for every Planeswalker and look for their name and previous cards that we could use as reprints. So we tried to find like all the coolest reprints we could from Magic's back catalog.
Well, one of my favorite Planeswalkers is a Johnny.
Oh,
Right, well, how about a Johnny's Pride Mate?
Hey!
yep.
Johnny's Pride Mate, 1 in the white for a 2/2 Cat Soldier. Whenever you
Yeah,
gain
the power and
life,
toughness
plus
do look
1/+1
different.
Counter on a Johnny's Pride Mate.
Interesting.
Now, Dave, I actually noticed the text, rules text is a little different here. What's up?
Right. So we actually updated the text for this card. It used to be you may put a counter on it. We decided like, well, you usually want to do that, so we cleaned that up, and now we put in everyone's hands, a card with updated text.
That's awesome. And, well, we know that Johnny has a Pride Mate. That must mean that Johnny has a Planeswalker card as well. Let's take a look at a Johnny himself. It's a Johnny the Great-Hearted.
Vigilance.
2 a green and a white, 5 loyalty Planeswalker. Creatures you control have Vigilance. +1, you gain 3 life. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each other Planeswalker you control. Woo,
The fact he
man.
gives vigilance to your
I need to
team
know
means
what
they
you
can
think.
protect
Well,
him.
for starters,
So I
it
kind of
works
like
really
him.
well with the Pride Mate.
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
vigilance and gaining counters, that's awesome. But I love the idea that Planeswalkers now can help each other. Like a Johnny is going to put counters on your other Planeswalker.
Right.
That could help Vraska activate a 3rd time. That's really cool how it's just going to like synergize with the rest of your board.
Yeah, and the art is incredible. Is he holding the head of a soldier, Taylor?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Locked that off as he was running by.
Yeah.
He's
Johnny's
an
out.
efficient cat.
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
No time wasted.
Seems
Now,
good.
Taylor, part of me is actually really sad because Ravnica is one of my favorite planes. It's so beautiful. It's got all these guilds with different architecture and buildings, and it's been brought to ruin.
He does need a
by
board
the
presence to be
Bolas
at his
plans.
best, but
I'm also kind of in awe of the destruction. How was that process to create and to draw for and to create art for?
Well, as we know, like Ravnica is an incredibly beautiful plane with really intricate and elaborate architecture, and it's also super difficult to illustrate. And this time around, we really wanted to capture the vibe of like a high-budget action film, sort of like we kind of saw before the panel. And we're with the cast of 36 extremely powerful planeswalkers, the guilds of Ravnica, and this army that Bolas has brought to Ravnica, just ready to go toe-to-toe in like a big heavyweight match.
Yeah.
And with all that epic power in the mix, there's just bound to be some battle damage done to the city.
thanks
Can't
for the
avoid
follow,
it.
Reximus.
But we really did this to show that the stakes are really high, but Ravnica's not defenseless. They're super powerful and they're ready to go toe-to-toe with Bolas. And visually, just with all the smoke and rubble and debris running by, it was just a way to help us keep that, reinforce the motion that we wanted, even in those quieter moments that we'll see in the cards.
Now, you say toe-to-toe with Bolas. Like, it was just yeah, anyone can just stand up to the guy and figure it out.
That's why
I mean,
Liliana
let's
melted.
take a look at a card called Emergent Zone, where I don't think we're really going toe-to-toe with Bolas here. So let's take a look at our next preview card, Emergent Zone. Is that toe-to-toe to
That's a
you?
pretty cool land.
You know, it's got to make an entrance.
It has a pretty real effect.
Emergent Zone's a land. You can tap it to add a colorless mana, or you can pay 1 and tap this land to sacrifice it, and you may cast spells this turn as though they had.
So you can like flash a creature into
That's
play to
super
block in
exciting,
limited.
And this art is incredible.
Seems
right?
decent.
Here is the planar bridge.
Might not be
Opening
great for your
chamber
mana,
of the
but-
goat pack, literally just ripping a hole into the space-time continuum, I guess.
Oh yeah, Wraths at
And
instant
another
speed.
favorite piece of art that I have from the set also
That's
covers
true,
the same
and
event, but from
constructed
another
mostly.
angle, which I love, and that card is Ravnica at War. 3 and a
Ooh.
white for a sorcery. Exile all multicolored permanents.
That's going to be spicy.
And it's from this upper top-down perspective as someone just watches as obviously things are happening and they don't look good. Brad, what do you think about these cards?
Well, I'm going to start with saying that I like multicolored cards, so I don't think I'm going to like Ravagers of War that much.
Understandable.
But Emergent Zone seems awesome. Quicken
Yep.
was one of my favorite cards from like 4 or 5 years ago, and now
Yeah, it's a
I
great
get to
utility
play,
land.
Like, flash sorceries.
I'm more
without
excited
having
about
to
the
play.
land.
Right.
So I really like that idea.
Yeah, that opens it up to every single color. Commander players,
Yeah.
I'm sure, are already very excited about that as well. Doug, I have a question here. Nicol Bolas is a pretty smart guy, right?
That's right. True.
He's like converging a lot of different things into the same area at the same time. The internet has surmised that this may or may not be a trap for the Planeswalkers. Please tell me it's not so.
It's totally a trap.
Oh,
Yes, Neko Bolas has created a web. He's put down the conditions in Ravnica that are perfect for what he wants. And what he wants ultimately is not to invade Ravnica. He's not trying to be king or president of Ravnica.
Right.
What he wants is planeswalkers. So he's got his army of Eternals, which are also there to help him cast an ancient spell called the Elder Spell, which will let him harvest planeswalkers' sparks for ultimate power.
time to spoil that card.
So, all the planeswalkers who are coming to stop him are helping him out.
And they're stuck there.
Yep, they're stuck.
And how long has he been making this plan for?
For at least since the mending, but before that, he's 20,000 plus years old. So he has had designs on godlike power for a way longer than these little kids have been alive.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this spell in the set?
There is a card called the Elder Spell in the set.
Not going
That's
to
amazing.
spoil
I
it.
don't even know what I'm eating for lunch today. So you might say then, Doug, that there is
That's what I
no
figured would
escape
happen in this story.
Planeswalkers. 2 in the blue, instant counter target creature or planeswalker spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard, and some gravy on top. Scry 1.
That's a pretty decent counterspell
Now-
for limited. A solid
So,
one.
This is pretty sweet. I love the fact that the counter spell's a little more flexible now, and the Scry 1 on there is always a little.
You've
added
missed a few
bonus.
planeswalkers
Dave, the
and
mechanics that
some
we
non-basic
see
lands,
in this
mostly.
set, I mean,
Sawtooth Mocha.
we have to support the planeswalkers, right? And can you help us reveal to the world what exactly we're
That's
gonna be
better than
doing with how
cancel.
these
I mean, adding
planeswalkers
Scry is pretty legit.
bolstered in game.
Yeah. So we do have a returning mechanic. I'll give each of you a minute to think, or not a minute, but
Yeah.
what mechanic would
Shout
you
it
want
out.
to see to work with planeswalkers? Yell it out. That sounds like a lot of people are getting. Yeah. So proliferate is here.
Proliferate.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd seen like the uncommon planeswalkers that have a limited amount of uses. If that disappointed you, well, proliferate gives you some tantalizing way to get some more uses out of them. Also, I know it's super exciting to try to get off a Planeswalker Ultimate sooner than you're supposed to be able to. So there's that as well. And
Live
yeah,
the dream.
it's just fun here in this environment. Last time you saw Proliferate, it was like tearing down everyone with -1/-1 counters. The Phyrexians are just doing really mean things, making everybody weak. Here you're just boosting everything up. Planeswalker is getting strong. The creatures, like, Johnny's Pride Mate, like there's a +1/+1 counter theme. So everybody's getting stronger. It's on the side of good here, not on the side of bad.
Evil. Well, on the side of everyone, because proliferate, you get to choose any number of permanents. So let's take a look at the first proliferate card of the set. It's Flux Channeler. 2 in the blue for a human wizard, 2/2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. And proliferate, the rules text, choose any number of permanents and or players, then give each another counter of each kind already there. Wow.
Obviously,
Well,
we'll
what do you
have to
think
see
about
the whole
Proliferate
set to
back
see how
in
good
set?
Well, I'm
Proliferate
really
is,
happy
but
to
if
see
it's good,
Proliferate come back
good
because,
card for
in
limited.
2011, I used it to actually win my Player of the Year title.
Hey!
humble brag.
Humble Brad, more like it.
I used it for evil though to get 10 infect.
Right.
But this is awesome. Like, this is just another way for all of these planeswalkers. I'm gonna need to bring a lot of dice to London. I'm just figuring that out.
Yeah, obviously we're gonna need dice at the pre-release, dice at proliferating planeswalkers, +1/+1 counters. Now let's take it back to the amazing trailer that we saw. One of my favorite parts is just seeing that army marching, mindless in a way, controlled by Liliana, straight towards their goal, and they seem absolutely unstoppable. And Nicol Bolas, I guess, imported them from Amonkhet. Doug, catch us up. How exactly did they get there, and how does Nicol Bolas even get them onto this completely different plane?
Right, so the trials on Amonkhet were there to weed out only the best warriors, and if your reward for making it through all the trials was to be killed by Hazaret and turned into an
Good
undead,
reward.
unstoppable warrior coated in Lazotep, which is that blue metallic mineral you're seeing on the. Lazotep allows Bolas to bring the Eternals through the planar bridge to Ravnica, and that becomes his stormtroopers. That becomes his massive army that he's using to take over all of Ravnica.
That's pretty intense.
Let's see these
And there's
zombies.
A lot of different types of Eternals, right, Taylor?
Yeah, we're going to see, it's really exciting. We're going to see a couple creatures that haven't been able to be skinned in Lazotep yet. So keep an eye out for those in your packs. And it's really cool to see the Eternal Army marching through Ravnica in a visual sense, not necessarily in the flavor sense. Because just the blue of that Lazotep really pops off of that more urban palette that Ravnica has going on. And they're definitely not hiding.
It looks nice. Yeah, wow, you blew my mind with that. All
Okay,
right,
show us a
let's
zombie.
take a look at our very first card featuring the Eternal Army. How about it? It's Herald of the Dread Horde. 3 in a black for a 3/2 creature zombie.
A
warrior.
mass.
When Herald of the Dread Horde dies, a mass
Army.
2. It's a brand new mechanic. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on an army you control. If you don't control
Whoa.
one, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first.
Sounds pretty good for limited.
A brand new mechanic.
4
And of
mana,
course,
3/2 that makes
you
a
know, what else
2/2
are these
basically
Eternals
when it
doing
dies.
But invading the city.
And it synergizes
1
with
blue and a red for
Proliferate.
a sorcery, amass X, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards
Oh,
in your
what?
graveyard. So in this case, you're not amassing a number, you're amassing X, and that number could be huge, as we've seen with the blue-red decks and standard.
Do the Phoenix decks really need this?
Dave, how did this mechanic come about? Can we talk a little more about it?
Right, so the mass mechanic was trying
Man.
to show off the Eternal Army of Bolas. It's in blue, black, and red, Nicol Bolas's Grixis colors.
Right.
We really wanted to show off that, if you didn't deal
Limited
with the army,
archetype,
it would just keep
blue-red
getting
is
bigger and
probably
bigger and
spells
bigger,
matter.
and we
Just guessing.
didn't give you the choice to I'll make a bunch of little armies. No, you're gonna keep going bigger and bigger. That's not to say that you can't make one, sacrifice it for some effect, make another one, sacrifice it. But there's a lot of different ways you can go with the deck building. But we really wanted to show that we're gonna make you keep building this up, and by not giving you that option, we can make the cards stronger than we would otherwise.
Seems like a cool mechanic,
Right,
good
what do you think
value.
about mass?
I think the idea is awesome. Just making a token and growing that above and beyond an opponent's board.
Right.
The issue that I'm having though is these cards seem a little limited, and I'm looking for something more my speed and constructed.
Oh, a little more powerful? Well, do you think we could show us and the audience a more
I feel like that
powerful,
blue-red spell
mass
with
mechanic?
a mask could definitely be
Yeah.
That's a
played and
yes.
constructed.
It's Dread Horde Invasion. It's 1 in a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass 1. And another nice line of text here. Whenever a zombie token you control with power.
This is the
6 or
card they're
greater
showing
attack,
us that's supposed
it
to be
gains
competitive and
lifelink
constructed.
Until end of turn. Wait,
I don't think
Brad,
that's
this
going to
is a
happen,
little bit
but
nuts,
it's a cool
right?
card.
Yeah, no. So this is reminding
Bitter
me of
Blossom.
a card from back in my day.
Bitter
It was,
Blossom.
called Bitter Blossom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie blossom.
And I died a lot to my own Bitter Blossom.
Right.
So I kind of like the idea that this can.
Maybe it's better than I think.
Jump off
That
point,
Bitter
you can
Blossom
keep
comparison
alive, I get a
came to me,
token.
and he
But
said
if
it
I'm
too.
stabilized, it's going to allow
Not
me to
having
grow the
flying
stage
does make a
without
real
losing all
difference,
that life
but-
back. That's like a really cool tension in a game of Magic that I haven't seen a card like that do.
Yeah, it's like a ticking timer. It's kind of.
It'll
like
be good
how
and limited.
there's, as the Ravnicans watch the army approaches, Brad is losing life and making.
But I don't know about constructed. I mean, I'm also not really qualified to
Yeah,
comment
the
on
army
that.
is eternal. I love the art so far. It's so compelling, and that, as you all know, was our 15th preview card, which means it's time for our super sweet 16th birthday card. We have one more preview card today, and this one's fun. It is
Nicol Bolas.
Widespread Brutality. 1 a black, red sorcery. Amass 2, and the
Whoa.
army you amassed deals damage equal to its power to each non-army
That's cool.
creature. So that's it's a board wipe on an amass stick, I suppose. I
That's
can't
a
wait
cool
to get my hands
design.
on this. But I know you guys are a little disappointed. It's a sorcery. Sure, it's a rare. You guys want another preview card, right? That was not as enthusiastic as that one. Twitch chat is more enthusiastic than you right now. Come on. All right. We saw Liliana in the trailer. I've never seen her in that state before, and I am dying to know what happens to her. Hopefully she doesn't die to know what happens to her as well. I know we can't spoil the story right now, but we can get one more preview card out of her, right? I think so. Doug, what do you think?
I mean, I want to see her, but do these guys want to see Liliana?
Oh, yeah, come on.
All right, well, let's check it out. Let's take a look at Liliana, Dreadhorde General.
Ooh. Protect yourself with tokens.
Black, black,
Makes your opponent
6
lose
loyalty
creatures.
Planeswalker. Whenever a creature you control dies,
She's good.
draw a card.
She's real good.
+1, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, as Liliana does. -4, each player sacrifices.
She may
2
just be an
creatures,
A
and
in
her
limited.
-9, each opponent
Early to
chooses
say,
permanent
but
A controller
she might just be an A.
permanent type And sacrifices the rest. Wow. Wow, that is powerful. Liliana looking incredibly badass in that art, too. Well, friends here at PAX East, people watching along at home, that is our 17 preview cards from War of the Spark. We have so many more
Sweet
coming up in the
cards.
next few months leading up to the set coming out as well. I can't wait for everyone to see the rest of the set. But until then, let's give a big thank you once again to our panelists out here. And as you all know, it is the last day of the Mythic Invitational today. Top 4 players are going to be battling it out for $1 million in prize money.
All right, we're done.
Absolutely.
Well, that was pretty cool. I'm pretty excited with that. Amass mechanic seems sweet. It's like kind of a weird area, an interesting area to explore. This whole idea of making a token and then putting the counters on it. There'll probably be some Zombie Lord in the set that could allow you to amass a 0/0 that becomes a 1/1 and then put the counters somewhere else. That's something that's a possibility. You would need some sort of static effect to pump them all. That Liliana looks like it's going to be in my top 10 bombs list, I would guess. Protecting herself, making the opponent lose creatures, having value when when a zombie, you use one of her zombies to chump block, you get to draw a card off of it, means things will just snowball. Like usually your opponent can attack and start cutting down on cards in play and eventually get their hands on your Planeswalker. But if you just chump block with a 2/2 and draw a card, play another creature +1, that's pretty great. And those static ability Planeswalkers look really cool. The whole thing looks pretty awesome, as expected. It'll be interesting to see more of these Planeswalkers with static abilities. Like the ones that are common, I'm particularly interested in seeing the designs. It's not even non-token creature, like you said, Fleur. It's all of them. So yeah, I'm glad that was short. That works for me because I got stuff, unfortunately, that I need to do. But that was pretty cool to watch and to watch with you guys. Have to watch the trailer later with sound, I guess, since nobody got to hear it with it. So yeah, that'll do it for today's stream. We did one draft. We went 3-2 in best of 3, and then we watched this, and it was pretty sweet. So hope everybody enjoyed the stream. Reminder, content is sponsored by Card Kingdom. You can click on their icon below, and it'll take you to their store, and you'll know they have a lot of great stuff, and they'll know I sent you. Same thing if you're watching this on YouTube. If I post this on YouTube, I don't know if I will, but you can click on the link in the description below instead. So lots of cool spoilers. I'll be tweeting intermittently about cards that get spoiled that I'm excited about, as I always do. And if you are a patron, I actually, as spoilers are spoiled, put my initial thoughts out on my Patreon. Kind of what will become my script. Things change, but the script for my set reviews. So set reviews only about 3 weeks away, so that's always a good time. So thanks everybody for watching, and I hope I see you all in my next stream.